Now on CoastTV News.
Maryland putting power in the hands of bikers, but not so fast in Ocean City. And a second shot at asylum, Kilmar Obrego Garcia's hearing set for this morning.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us today. I'm Grace Eckerly. Welcome to CoastTV News Midday. We're starting off this morning with breaking news. Police are responding to an active shooter at Annunciation Church and Catholic School in South Minneapolis. This is a developing situation, and according to NBC News, we now know that there are multiple victims confirmed and a shooter has been detained. Stay tuned as we will continue to provide updates. And the Delaware Senate Republican caucus backing the Trump administration's move to reconsider federal approval for an offshore wind project. Senator Gerald Hawker says it's a win for these coastal communities on Delmarva. But Republicans are rejecting claims of hypocrisy, saying that the issue involves federal oversight and not local land use decisions. And starting October 1st, Maryland will allow bikes to ride on sidewalks. But the town of Ocean City is considering its own rule that will negate that. And this week, the council agreed to draft a ban on bikes on sidewalks, except in approved areas. CoastTV photojournalist Matt Hipsman has reactions from the people.
When it comes down to the bikes in the OC, personally, don't have a problem with it. There's certain times where certain parts of certain sidewalks should be nothing but straight pedestrians, especially when it comes down to a main road. If you have like a bike lane, bro, just take the bike lane. It's totally understandable.
People, they don't really they don't break the law, break the road like that. It's pretty chill over here. There's not really danger with them, I mean, if it is any danger, they got that little bell thingy, ding, 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 so you can hear it and be like, oh, snap, look back real quick,
Honestly, I say this all the time. I wish the sidewalks was a little bigger. Not just with the biking, but it's also with tourists too. During the summertime, OC gets packed. And since it gets packed, you want a bigger sidewalk so that way you can have more people come in and then more people leave out, just to avoid cluster.
People's out here doing their thing. It's not really gonna hurt me, I just gotta have common sense and just know my surroundings as well.
You gotta think about it. Majority of people who comes to OC, you got a lot of J1s. So a lot of J1s ride either scooters or bikes. So if it was a bigger sidewalk, it wouldn't be more of a hassle at all. Just my personal opinion though.
And taking a live look into Rehoboth now, I'm looking for some bikes out there. It looks like a beautiful day for it, but not seeing many. We have our first alert meteorologist, Bob Trihey, in the studio with us now for a first look at this morning's forecast. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Grace. Good morning to you. And I saw a lot of beach umbrellas on the coast there, on the beaches. Not so much bicycles on the boardwalk as the last week of August is feeling fall-like out. Look at these temperatures right now into the lower 70s, around 70 to 72. A little cooler in Lewis at 68, 70 in Georgetown and Millsboro. We have a northwest breeze right now at around 7 to 14 miles per hour and gusting close to 20 at the beaches. And that breeze is feeling like a cool breeze because we're in a northwesterly flow right now. Here's a visible satellite picture, not a cloud in the sky as high pressure is building in from the west. So a beautiful rest of your Wednesday with Futurecast showing us in the mid 70s around the noon hour, a little cooler at the beaches and then mid to upper 70s as we go into the afternoon and looking at 70s at the beaches and definitely feeling cooler with a northwesterly breeze, but beautiful conditions for those outdoor activities as we go into this evening. Here's your day part forecast. Northwest breeze making it feel a little cooler, but really nice. Temperatures in the 70s and cool overnight lows in the 50s and 60s. And this cooler pattern continues right into the holiday weekend. I'll have more on that forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Thanks, Bob. And officials are investigating a fire at a Dorchester County home last night. The fire was caused by a failure in the bathroom's exhaust fan, resulting in $50,000 worth of damage. Thankfully, both people in those homes were available to evacuate safely. And this is developing news here. Kilmar Obrego Garcia, he's renewing his bid for asylum, and he's got a virtual hearing set for this morning. He's back in the U.S. after ICE wrongfully deported him earlier this year. And as Amy Kiley shows us, his attorneys are now asking a judge to make ICE release him from detention.
Today, a U.S. district judge is holding a hearing in Kilmar Abrego Garcia's immigration case. She's asking his attorneys and the Justice Department to weigh in on how the proceedings should play out. For now, the judge is blocking the government's plan to quickly re-deport him. That's after it wrongly sent him to a prison in El Salvador this year, and the Supreme Court demanded it facilitate his return. Now, Abrego Garcia is back in the U.S. and renewing his bid for asylum.
I believe that now he's going to get the due process.
He will no longer terrorize our country.
In a separate case, the Trump administration accuses Abrego Garcia of being a gang member. It's charging him with human smuggling, which he denies.
The guy needs to be in prison.
The federal criminal judge gave him bail because the defense team went in there and basically peeled the bark off the case, showed that the allegations are based on third and fourth hand hearsay.
Abrego Garcia's attorney says he rejected a plea deal that involved deporting him to Costa Rica. That country is offering him legal status. Now the DOJ is threatening to deport him to Uganda. It might send him back to El Salvador.
They know they don't have the goods. They desperately are trying to get him out of here so they don't ever have to go into court and back up the indictment that they brought.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And in Delaware, hunting seasons are set to open in September. On the 1st, archery and crossbow deer season begins, along with resident Canada geese, mourning doves, and coyotes. Gray squirrel season opens on the 15th, followed by early teal season starting on the 20th. DenRec reminds hunters to review all regulations and ensure they have the proper licenses. And happening today, the Blood Bank on Delmarva is continuing its annual event for a brew event. This blood drive is held at coffee shops and breweries to help make up for the shortfall of donations that comes from the summer season. This is footage from Tuesday's drive at Dogfish Head Brewery in Milton. The drive continues at Dogfish Head today until 5 p.m. And coming up on CoastTV News Midday, the U.S. collected $22 billion of revenue in a single day. Where it's coming from and what it means for the change in your pocket. But first, 2 rockets tried to go up to space and only one came back down to Earth. That's after the break. And check this out. Incredible video here of the SpaceX Starship spacecraft successfully making its way down to its splashdown site in the Indian Ocean. This was the 10th flight test of the Starship and rocket booster after the launch was scrubbed twice in a row last week. But some not so great news closer to home. Our sounding rocket launch that was scheduled at NASA's Wallops Island facility was scrubbed yet again. Here's the video feed NASA provided in the lead up to the decision. The sounding rocket will investigate one of Earth's atmospheric regions. The new launch window opens tonight at 10:30. And wellness advice is literally everywhere, but what really works? Up next on CoastTV News, a doctor shares 5 simple science-based tips for your everyday health.
And spectacular weather on this Monday. Looking into Laurel, live shot, lots of blue skies, temperatures near 70 and fall like mid-70s. And we're looking at this trend continuing the rest of the week into the holiday weekend with little in the way of rain. Much more in my full forecast coming up after the break. For a lot of beachgoers, getting those last days at the beach in, not feeling like summer today, really not feeling like it for the rest of the week. The next several days, telling a razor cam, it's beautiful out there. Look at those brilliant blue skies, 72, dew points in the 50s, indicating very dry air. Now, over the past 30 days or so, we've been seeing more below normal temperatures than above normal. Just a few days of above normal, really, the past 30 days. But look at all the days with below normal temperatures. And that trend will continue to wrap up August and probably into the beginning of September as well. And we've got upper 70s Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. The only day that we're close to average is Friday, 81, and the average high is 85. So the cool pattern continues with temperatures only in the low 70s right now, even 68 in Lewis, 70 in Georgetown, Millsboro is 71, Bethany Beach at 71, and a northwesterly breeze that's making it feel a little cooler, gusting up to about 20 miles per hour or so at the coast and even inland. So you definitely need a windbreaker or a sweatshirt as you go into the afternoon, especially in those shady spots, but stay in the sun. There's plenty of that as our visible satellite picture showing lots of clear skies all and up and down the East Coast, maybe a few showers across New England, but we have high pressure that has us in a northwesterly flow, very dry, a fall-like pattern. That high is back to our west. You can see it's carving out a big area of clear skies across the Mississippi Valley into the northeast, and we'll continue to see that high pressure giving us nice weather the next few days. And this afternoon, only topping out in the mid to upper 70s inland areas and 70s at the beaches, feeling cooler with that breeze. And then into this evening, very pleasant. Remember to have your jacket handy as temperatures are falling through the 60s, and then tomorrow morning, very chilly into the 50s, low to mid 50s, and then bouncing up with the cloud cover. We will see more clouds tomorrow. By noon, upper 70s and low 80s, and 70s to low 80s by mid-afternoon. Maybe a stray sprinkle, but all in all, it's looking dry. Then into Thursday night, we'll see a weak cold front coming through. Not expecting anything in the way of rain, with a cooler start Friday morning, 50s and 60s, and then 70s and low 80s by Friday afternoon. As we'll see northwest winds this afternoon, gusting up to 20 miles per hour at times. They lighten up tomorrow morning, but then pick up out of the south Thursday evening as a cold front is making its way into our area. Then westerly winds into Friday afternoon. And look at our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. The first day of September, which is Labor Day, till the 5th, we're still looking at below normal temperatures. So this trend's going to continue for a while. 78 in Seaford today, in Georgetown, brilliant sunshine. 76 in Easton, Vienna, 78 degrees. And then around Salisbury, 78, and the same for Ocean City, around 79 in Chincoteague. Paul, they have a 7-day forecast, 81 on Friday. That's the only day in the 80s. The rest of them in the upper 70s, 50s and 60s at night. And then the Labor Day holiday weekend, upper 70s, beautiful, with a mix of sun and clouds.
Coming up today on Coast Life, you guys are not going to want to miss it. I'm going to have a special guest host joining me on the couch, Rachel Parker from Parker Group. So, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about housing, but it's also our back to school week. So we're talking about the kids getting back on those buses, getting out of your house and back into the classroom. And how about this? Haircut anxiety. It's something that about 20% of men actually experience. So we're going to break that down and even get the take of a few people out on the street. So tune in today at 4 for Coast Life.
$22 billion. That's how much the United States collected in tariff payments from importers just on Friday alone. And the U.S. has taken in nearly $30 billion in tariff revenue just this month so far, already surpassing July's record by $4 million. That's according to the Treasury Department. And today, tariffs on most Indian goods are set to double at 50%. We'll be right back. It can be so hard to figure out what your body and mind really need to stay healthy. But in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither shows us the top 5 health tips from doctors that you actually need.
When it comes to health, there's no shortage of quick fixes and fads, but experts say to focus on wellness in the long term.
It's just an approach and ways of integrating into daily life that can help with your mental, physical health, and overall well-being.
Dr. Winnie Armand with Mass General Brigham says there are 5 proven ways to help health. First, make mindfulness a daily habit. That means intentional focus on the present moment. She says it can help anxiety as well as focus and concentration. Next, prioritize quality sleep. Armand views sleep as medicine, helping to reduce stress while promoting healthy eating, concentration, and performance. Third, choose whole food. She says diets rich in vegetables and legumes without being processed support longevity and vitality.
Many of these additives are not good for us, and they feed into the craving and it makes it easier to overeat.
Fourth, move more, sit less. Armand says exercise isn't limited to the gym. Incorporate it into your life like walking more. And finally, protect against toxins by swapping out plastics in your kitchen.
Using a reusable steel or glass mug instead of a plastic, not putting plastic in the microwave, which makes the plastic degrade more. And it doesn't mean going out and buying a whole bunch of stuff. You can just take even a glass jam jar and use that instead of Tupperware.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A live look into Ocean View on the gutter helmet cam. Wall-to-wall sunshine, the breeze kicking up, feeling more like fall out there, and that'll be the trend this afternoon with 70s on the way, and the end of August is feeling more like fall, and the dry, cool weather lasts into the upcoming holiday weekend. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, just a call away. Sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up next.
Oh my gosh, look at this. This is the Metro Richmond Zoo in Virginia. The zoo announced the birth of 6 new cheetah cubs and is introducing them to the public. They were born back in May to parents Zuri and Ramsey. The cubs spent their first few months at the zoo's Cheetah Conservation Center. 3 girls and 3 boys. Mom certainly has her hands full there.
Oh, look at those cute guys until they become big cats. The fastest land animal is the cheetah. Boy, can they run. And today we're looking at sunshine and cool temperatures into the mid-70s, feeling cooler with a northwesterly breeze and getting really chilly tomorrow morning down to 54. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 79 on Thursday. Friday is a warm day, 81. And then right now, it looks like the Labor Day holiday weekend stays dry with upper 70s. Warming up next week. We need the rain, maybe a chance Wednesday, and then again by Friday with a high of 83.
Thank you for joining us here today on Coast TV News Midday. For more local news and weather, download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us back here for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon, and have a great day.